Hello everybody, this is Dee from the Fishing Gardeners back on deck again. I'm going to show you around on how we winterize some of our fruit trees in Central Florida. So what I did was, all the fruit trees that I had, I went and placed them in larger pots. A lot of these fruit trees will be going into dormancy, so we're getting them ready for the winter. This way, when they come out in spring, they're already in larger pots and they'll be ready to produce. So the trees that don't go into dormancy are usually the citrus trees. They just go all the way around, and at least my citrus trees constantly have fruits on them all year long. But we have other trees that actually do go into dormancy, fig trees and plum trees, pear trees. We got quite a few sugar apple trees. They'll stop producing. So this right here is this side that you see all lined up. All of these trees have been moved into bigger pots. They will be ready for the spring. I won't have to be uplifting them and messing with the roots, and they'll be ready to produce when they, next year comes along. This one right here didn't like the uprooting too well, but it'll come back. It's a black chipotle. Like I said, a lot of these right here, pear trees and plum trees, all of these will be going into dormancy or lose all of their leaves, and they'll come back out in spring. And by me doing this, they'll be prepared for the winter. Any trees that I have to wrap up, which is usually my mango trees, they're already prepared. I would just go ahead and move them into I have what you call an umbrella greenhouse, which is a big large greenhouse that I open up during the little bit of chill season that we have, and I place all the trees that does not like any type of frost inside that greenhouse. And it's a very large greenhouse, so I only put it up when we know we're going to have a freeze. Tuck usually the mango trees and what other trees that I have that does not like cold, and I'm going to make sure they're preserved into that greenhouse. Any trees that I do have on the ground, I'll go ahead and put 2 stakes on each side of them, and I'll go ahead and wrap protective plastic around them. So that's how I protect those. And so far, all of this has been working for me. So by going into this stage of protecting the trees, I start moving into fall planting, such as, as vegetables, as collard greens, mustard greens, lettuce, onions, carrots, bok choy, all the different type of leafy vegetables that don't like the heat of Florida in the sun. It's a little hot in Florida, but I've already started all my seedlings. So by October, they will be going in the pots. And this is the reason why I situated all of these in these certain areas where we know they're going into dormancy, but I can still watch out for them, see if any pests or anything attack. So these right here is my persimmon trees right here. A couple of them I've already went into dormancy, and a couple of them haven't because they still have fruits on them. So they get trimmed and tucked with the mulch and fresh fertilizer, everything. So they are ready. They all have been fertilized and very well fed, and they're ready. As we know, in Central Florida, we don't really get a lot of frost, but we may get 1 or 2 weeks, maybe sometimes 3 weeks, not consecutively, but it does come and go. So usually not enough to really do damage to the trees, but sometimes you may get that. And a lot of the trees, like the papaya trees and moringa trees, they don't like the frost. So a lot of times if I see them like suffering any, I'll have to go ahead and chop them down and just let them regrow. And that's how I save them, because they regrow so quickly. A lot of the trees have gotten trimmed. My Jamaican cherry strawberry tree, both of those have gotten trimmed, and It's actually time for the loquat trees to start producing their fruits. My miracle berry trees are still producing fruits, and they produce fruits for quite a while. I get a lot of berries, but I also have 3 nice-sized trees, as you can see in these white pots. So I have them in big pots. And we got that Cuban oregano right there. So everything that's going to be planted now will be green leafy vegetables. They seem to be very easy for me to grow from last year. Basically, I just put them in the pot and let them do what they do. Every once in a while, I'll check on them and give them water, but nowhere near as hard as trying to grow any type of vegetable in the summertime here in Florida. This is this tomato plant I decided to throw into my tower just to try, and it has overgrown the tower, but I'm just going to leave it there. And there goes some of my seedlings that I've already started. I have, broccoli, kale, cabbage. And I started these seedlings in the house. You can check my other video out to see where I've started my seedlings with grow lights in the house. But some of these seedlings have gotten pretty big, so these are the ones that I brought outside and just threw them in these pots right here. And you'll see a couple of seedlings tucked around there. So I like things kind of organized. To me, I can take better care of them and give them each the attention that they deserve. I have a lot of mango trees, and each tree grows differently. So, I have to pay attention and make sure one's not getting too wet, one's not getting too dry. I haven't had to water any of these trees in the last month because it's been raining every day. So some of these mango trees do not like a lot of water. And here's a quick look at my blueberry patch. So that's some more blueberries. So the blueberries that was in the Lowe's bucket against the wall, those were blueberries, and also that was my blueberry patch. So far I got about 16 variety of mango trees, and counting when I decide to get some more. But I like to make sure everything is spaced out in my garden and has room to grow, so no trees are actually touching each other that can get any type of disease on them. Anything that would impede their growth. A lot of these mango trees will remain in pots, and I have some huge pots, so they definitely can grow in those pots. They have been moved up to the pots that they're going to be in for a year, and then when I come around to the next year, they'll be moved up again. So I have very large size pots, 50-gallon pots. I have some big pots, and I'm making sure that I space everything out so that I can have the appropriate room when these trees grow. A couple of them will be in the ground. So I also had to get rid of some of my citrus trees because they were being attacked by something, but that's okay. The citrus trees I kept, obviously they have all type of fruits on them, so I'm not going to get rid of those, and they're doing pretty well. But I have definitely shrunk my citrus, at least the big citrus anyway. And I decided to add more mangoes because that's our main purpose for the backyard. We just love every type of mango. And we have all type of flavors of mangoes. Pina colada, super Alfonso, super Julie ice cream, fruit punch, fruit cocktail, dwarf Hawaiian. We have a Hayden with that Tommy, non-duck mai. We have a whole bunch of, different type of mangoes. A lot of these mangoes are semi-dwarf to dwarf mangoes, so they could remain in the pot and produce, and we have had production of them. I also had to move some of my pineapples out of the pineapple patch because it was just growing like crazy. I couldn't even get through there to pull a weed. And as you can see, I moved my moringa over here by the ice cream bean tree, and we got that mulberry tree at the back, and it's producing mulberries like crazy. Of course, you see my sugar cane still going strong here. And the sugar cane actually, that's about volunteer sugar cane because I actually didn't pull the last one and the new stocks came back up. So that's their area right there. And we got this papaya tree getting ready to produce some fruits. I actually put it a little bit too close to the banana tree. I was going to move it, but I decided, I'll let it go ahead and do what it do. So we laid down a bunch of tarps so we wouldn't have to deal with weeds over the fall. And this right here, look at this tree right here. This guava tree is constantly producing. I chopped it back, and it came up producing more fruits. And here's my grapevine right here. So I got that going on. That's something new to the garden. And these are my other citrus right here. As you can see, they're producing. And I keep them cut and trimmed and controlled. And these are the Barbados cherries. Each one of them got trimmed all the way down because I want a nice fat tree trunk on them. And that's my main reason for trimming them and keeping them trimmed. They grow like crazy, and they give you cherries, all summer long, and they're still giving cherries. So I trimmed them all the way down for the winter. As we go along here, I gotta go ahead and harvest the sweet potatoes so I can come up with the new collard greens and everything that I need to put out. And there's some of my collard greens from last year, and collard green trees. So they made it through the whole summer. And these are the sweet potatoes I gotta harvest. I'm not gonna harvest them until October. And look at that old pineapple right there. She's almost ready. Got ginger, another pomegranate. Got me 3 pomegranate trees. And then we have our kumquats sitting over here in that area. My hubby did that for me right there. We decided to go ahead and take them out the pot and go ahead and place them down because we have people who have kumquats, our neighbors all around us. And the trees just aren't that big, but they produce a lot. So we decided to put them in the ground. There's that blackberry. And all of those sweet potatoes have to be harvested. And then we got a dwarf loquat right there. So yeah, let's bring you to this little tour to show you how we winterize our fruit trees. And we move on to fall. So we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to them. Not really goodbye, but we're going to go ahead and tuck them in nighty-night. And they'll come back out nice and beautiful for the spring. And yeah, those are those strawberry guavas. They didn't produce this year because I had them in a smaller pot, so I upgraded the pot. Okay, thank you for coming with me on this tour, and this is how we winterize our fruit trees. So hopefully that helped you. Any comments or concerns, go ahead and comment down below. Subscribe, like, and have a nice day. Be blessed. Goodbye.